There are moments in life when someone you trusted wounds you the most. The pain feels heavy, and your first instinct is to react, to prove yourself, or to ask why. But what if I told you that the greatest strength is not in reacting, but in rising above? When a man hurts you, the most powerful move you can make is to confuse him, not with games, but with a strength he never expected. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people think of it as weakness, as if remaining quiet means you have no words, no strength, or no courage to respond. But in truth, silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give, especially when someone tries to hurt you, when chaos surrounds you, when someone expects you to break down, argue, or lose control. Silence becomes your shield and your weapon. It is the act of refusing to feed negativity with more negativity. It is the calmness that unsettles the one who wanted to disturb your peace. When someone hurts you, they expect a reaction. They expect your anger, your tears, your explanations, your endless words trying to make them understand the pain they caused. They expect you to hand them power by showing them how deeply they affected you. That is where silence confuses them. Instead of shouting, you breathe. Instead of proving, you simply exist. Instead of trying to fix or explain, you let your quietness speak. And that quietness says more than 1,000 words ever could. It says you will not be controlled, you will not be shaken, and you will not lower yourself to the level of chaos. Silence is not passive. It is active strength. To stay quiet when you are hurting takes far more control than letting your emotions explode. Anyone can scream back when insulted. Anyone can argue endlessly when misunderstood. But only a strong and disciplined person can remain still, steady, and calm. This type of silence is not empty. It is full of awareness, full of self-respect, full of unspoken wisdom. It tells the other person that you know your worth and that no reaction is worth your energy. Think about the times in your life when you were provoked. Did shouting or arguing ever bring true peace? Did it ever heal the wound or change the one who caused it? Or did it only drain you more, leaving you exhausted and vulnerable? Silence, on the other hand, protects your energy. It gives you the space to think clearly instead of being swept away by emotion. It stops you from saying words you might later regret. It shields your dignity because no one can twist or misuse words you never said. The beauty of silence lies in how it unsettles others. A person who wanted to hurt you often feeds off your reaction. They want to see your tears, hear your anger, or watch you break. When you give them none of that, when you respond with calmness instead of chaos, you take away their control. They are left confused, powerless, and sometimes even frustrated because silence denies them the satisfaction they were seeking. That is why silence is not weakness. It is strength disguised as stillness. But silence is not just about withholding words from others. It is also about turning inward and listening to yourself. In moments of pain, silence allows you to hear your own heart, to feel your emotions without judgment, and to process what happened with clarity. It gives you the space to ask yourself important questions. Is this person worth my energy? Is this situation worth breaking my peace? In that quiet reflection, you discover that not everything deserves a response, and not every person deserves access to your emotions. Silence also becomes a statement of self-respect. It shows that you do not need to beg, to explain, or to lower yourself in order to be understood. You stand in your truth, and you let your actions, your growth, and your peace speak for you. This type of silence is louder than any argument. It says, I know who I am. I don't need to prove it to you. That unshakable calmness is what truly confuses anyone who tries to hurt you. Over time, practicing silence teaches you mastery over yourself. It teaches you not to be controlled by external noise, but to stay rooted in inner peace. It turns pain into power, because instead of letting someone's actions dictate your emotions, you remain in control of your own state of mind. That is real strength, not reacting but choosing peace. So the next time someone tries to disturb your balance, remember that silence is not emptiness. It is full of meaning, full of power, and full of dignity. Respond not with chaos, but with calmness. Let your silence speak. Let it protect you, and let it remind you of your strength. For in silence lies the greatest confusion you can create, and the deepest peace you can ever hold within yourself. When pain enters your life, it often feels like a heavy weight, pressing down on your chest, suffocating your peace and making you question your worth. The natural instinct in those moments is to look outward, to blame, to seek revenge, or to make the one who hurt you feel what you felt. But the truth is, revenge does not heal wounds. It only deepens them. When you choose revenge, you are still tied to the one who hurt you. They remain the center of your thoughts, your energy, and your action. But when you shift your focus from them to yourself, from retaliation to growth, you take back your power. Pain becomes more than suffering. It becomes fuel for transformation. Growth is the most beautiful and powerful response to pain. Every wound you carry, every betrayal, every disappointment, and every heartbreak can either break you down or build you up. The choice lies in how you use it. If you use pain as an excuse to stay small, to stay bitter, or to close your heart, then it wins. But if you decide to take that same pain and turn it into motivation to rise higher, to evolve into a stronger version of yourself, then you win. Pain is not meant to trap you. It is meant to guide you toward change. Think about the strongest people you admire. None of them became strong without enduring hardship. It is through pain that character is shaped. It is through disappointment that resilience is born. It is through being broken that you learn how to rebuild yourself in a way that cannot be broken again. Every painful moment has within it the seed of growth, but you must be willing to water it with discipline, patience, and perspective. Using pain as fuel means asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become wiser, stronger, and more focused? It means taking the energy you would waste on anger or revenge and channeling it into building your dreams, working on your goals, and improving your life. Imagine the power in this shift. Instead of spending your nights replaying the hurt, you spend them building the life you deserve. Instead of obsessing over the person who hurt you, you obsess over becoming so strong and fulfilled that no one can shake you again. Growth also means letting go of the need for others to validate your pain. Sometimes the person who hurt you will never admit they were wrong. Sometimes they will never apologize or understand the depth of the wound they left. Waiting for them to change keeps you trapped in the cycle of suffering. But focusing on growth means saying, I don't need your apology to move forward. I will heal, I will grow, and I will rise, because my life belongs to me, not to the pain you caused. That is the ultimate victory. It is not easy to grow through pain. It requires discipline. It requires patience with yourself. It requires the willingness to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. But on the other side of that discomfort is transformation. You begin to see that every challenge was preparing you for something greater. Every betrayal was teaching you about boundaries and self-respect. Every heartbreak was shaping your capacity to love yourself more deeply. Growth also teaches you to redirect your energy. The same fire that could destroy you can also light your path forward. Pain gives you intensity. It stirs your emotions, wakes you up, and refuses to let you stay asleep in mediocrity. If you learn to channel that intensity into your goals, your health, your craft, your passion, you will rise faster and stronger than ever before. The very thing that was meant to break you becomes the reason you succeed. And here is the most important part. When you focus on growth, you naturally outgrow the person who hurt you. They remain stuck in the same patterns while you are no longer even on the same level. Their actions become irrelevant because your evolution has taken you far beyond their reach. That is how pain truly becomes fuel. You no longer live to prove them wrong. You live to prove yourself right. You show yourself that you are capable of turning suffering into strength, wounds into wisdom, and pain into purpose. So when pain finds you, and it will, because no life is free from it, do not let it harden your heart or poison your spirit. Do not waste your precious energy on revenge, because revenge ties you to the past. Instead, focus on growth. Use the hurt to push you further, to awaken your potential, and to create the life you once thought was impossible. Let your success be the loudest response to the pain you endured. Let your evolution be the answer to every wound. And most of all, let your growth remind you that no matter who tried to break you, you are unbreakable when you choose to rise. There is a special kind of strength in dignity. It is not loud. It does not argue. It does not beg. It does not try to prove a point or force understanding from someone who chooses not to see. Dignity is quiet power, and it is the very thing that confuses those who try to manipulate you. When someone attempts to control you, they expect your emotions to give them access to your power. They expect you to react, to cling, to explain, to fight for their approval, or to collapse under their pressure. But when you walk away with dignity, you give them none of that. You leave them standing in their own emptiness, wondering why their tricks no longer work on you. Manipulators thrive on control. They play with words, with emotions, with guilt, and with fear. They make you question yourself, your value, your choices. They feed on the attention you give them. Every time you defend yourself, every time you argue, every time you try to make them see your heart, you give them exactly what they want. Your energy. That is why walking away in dignity is so powerful. It is not about winning or losing. It is about refusing to play a game that was designed to drain you from the very beginning. Walking away with dignity does not mean you are weak or that you could not stand your ground. On the contrary, it means you are strong enough to know that your energy, your peace, and your self-respect are too valuable to waste. It takes far more courage to leave quietly with your head held high than to stay in chaos, trying to fight for what should have been given freely. Honesty, respect, and love. The moment you choose dignity over reaction, you reclaim your power. Instead of trying to convince someone of your worth, you show that your worth is not up for debate. Instead of lowering yourself to match their games, you rise above them. Instead of being pulled into their storm, you stand firm in your calm. That is what confuses the manipulator, because manipulation loses all force when it is met with dignity. Think about it. If someone insults you and you fire back, the argument grows. If someone tries to guilt you and you defend yourself, they know they touched a nerve. If someone ignores your needs and you beg for attention, they know they have control. But if you respond with dignity by neither fighting nor begging, but by calmly walking away, you take away the very thing they rely on, your reaction, your silence, your composure, your refusal to be drawn in. It unsettles them. They do not know what to do with a person who does not play by their rules. Walking away with strength is also a gift to yourself. It keeps your heart clean. It keeps your energy free. It protects you from turning bitter or small. You rise above not for them, but for yourself. You choose to protect your peace instead of poisoning yourself with arguments that go nowhere. You choose to live by your values instead of lowering them to match someone else's. That is true strength. That is dignity in action. And dignity is not only about leaving. It is also about how you carry yourself after you leave. Do you spend your time obsessing over them, checking if they noticed your absence, or waiting for them to come back? Or do you use that space to grow, to heal, to build yourself stronger? Walking away with strength means you do not turn back to see if they are watching. You are too busy moving forward, too focused on building the life you deserve, to care whether they regret losing you. That is what truly unsettles a manipulator. They cannot handle someone who chooses themselves over the game. It is not easy to walk away with dignity. Your heart will want to explain. Your pride will want to argue. Your emotions will want to fight for closure. But dignity whispers a different path. It says, you do not need to explain yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to fight for space in a place where your worth was never valued. You do not need to lower yourself to prove what is already true. Listening to that whisper takes courage, but it also sets you free. In the end, dignity is the greatest revenge. Not because it seeks to hurt the other person, but because it refuses to let them hurt you any longer. It protects your soul, your energy, your peace. It confuses the manipulator, because they cannot control what they cannot reach. And they cannot reach a person who has chosen to rise, to walk away, and to keep their self-respect intact. So the next time someone tries to manipulate you, remember this: you do not have to fight on their battlefield. You do not have to play their games. You do not have to lose yourself trying to win their approval. Walk away. Walk tall. Walk with strength. Let your silence, your calm, and your dignity speak louder than any words ever could. That is how you confuse the manipulator. That is how you win without fighting. When someone hurts you, the first instinct is often to fight back, to defend yourself, or to make them feel the same pain they caused. But the truth is, none of these reactions will give you real healing. None of them will restore your peace. Revenge may feel satisfying for a moment, but it keeps you tied to the very person who tried to bring you down. The most powerful response you can ever give to pain, betrayal, or rejection is not revenge. It is success. When you rise above the hurt and build a life so strong, so bright, and so fulfilling that nothing from the past can touch it, you show the world that no wound was strong enough to destroy you. Success has a way of silencing every doubt, every insult, and every attempt to break you. It does not require words. It does not require arguments. It does not even require you to explain your story. All it requires is your discipline, your resilience, and your commitment to keep moving forward, no matter who tried to stop you. The same people who underestimated you will have no choice but to witness your rise, and the beauty of it all is that your success is not even for them, it is for you. It is the gift you give yourself for surviving the pain and refusing to let it define you. Shining brighter after being hurt is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving yourself right. It is about showing yourself that you are stronger than the storm, that you can turn wounds into wisdom, and that you can build beauty out of brokenness. Each time someone tries to dim your light, you choose to shine even more. That choice confuses those who try to hurt you, because they expected you to crumble, not to rise. They expected your spirit to weaken, not to strengthen. They expected your path to end, not to expand. Success as a response also heals in ways that words cannot. When you throw yourself into growth, into purpose, into building something meaningful, the pain that once consumed you begins to fade. It no longer defines your days because your focus has shifted. Instead of thinking about the one who hurt you, you are thinking about your goals. Instead of replaying old wounds, you are creating new victories. Pain becomes smaller and smaller because success fills the space it once occupied. But success is not only about career, money, or external recognition. True success is also about inner fulfillment. It is about waking up with peace in your heart. It is about knowing that no matter what happened in your past, you are living a life of meaning, of joy, of purpose. When you heal, when you find strength in your solitude, when you build relationships that honor your worth, that too is success. And nothing unsettles someone who tried to hurt you more than seeing you happy without them, glowing without them, living fully without them. Of course, the path to success is not easy. It requires you to turn pain into fuel, to transform anger into determination, and to redirect your focus from the past to the future. It requires you to rise each time you fall, to keep going when no one is clapping, and to trust that your effort will one day shine brighter than your suffering. But every step forward is proof that you cannot be broken. Every achievement, no matter how small, is evidence that you are stronger than the hurt you endured. There will be moments when the temptation to look back creeps in. Moments when you wonder if those who hurt you notice your progress. But true success is not about them noticing. It is about you no longer caring whether they do or not. You do not shine to be seen. You shine because it is your nature, because it is your gift, because the light within you is far stronger than any darkness you faced. The best part is that success once earned creates unshakable confidence. It teaches you that no pain, no betrayal, no rejection has the power to stop you. You become untouchable, not because hurt will never come again, but because you know how to rise no matter how many times it does. And that knowledge, that unshakable strength makes you truly free. So when someone hurts you, do not waste your time trying to hurt them back. Do not waste your energy begging them to understand or waiting for them to regret. Put that energy into building yourself, into creating a future so radiant that the past loses all its power. Let your success be your answer. Let your glow be your revenge. Let your rise be the proof that no one, not a manipulator, not a betrayer, not a critic, can dim a soul determined to shine. Shine so bright that hurt cannot touch you. Shine so bright that even your scars look like stars guiding your way forward. Shine so bright that your very existence becomes a living testimony of resilience. That is the best response to pain. That is how you win without ever having to fight. When pain enters your life, it is natural to want to retaliate. The sting of betrayal, rejection, or cruelty can awaken a fire inside you that demands justice. You want the other person to feel what you felt, to carry the same weight that crushed you. Retaliation seems like the only way to balance the scales. But the truth is, retaliation never brings balance. It ties you to the one who hurt you. It keeps your mind, your energy and your heart revolving around them long after they have moved on. Retaliation keeps you chained to the past, but transformation sets you free. Turning your pain into purpose is how you rise above what was meant to destroy you. Every pain has two possible outcomes. It can shrink you, or it can expand you. If you let it shrink you, you become bitter, hardened, closed off from life and love. You stop trusting, you stop hoping, you stop moving forward. The wound becomes your prison. But if you let pain expand you, if you decide to transform it, it becomes the soil from which your greatest strength grows. It becomes the reason you develop courage, resilience, empathy, and determination. Transformation is not denying the pain, but using it as raw material for your evolution. Turning pain into purpose starts with asking yourself, what can I do with this? How can this suffering serve something greater than just my own hurt? The moment you shift your focus from retaliation to purpose, the pain begins to lose its power over you. Instead of being consumed by thoughts of revenge, you are consumed by building something meaningful. Instead of replaying the wound in your mind, you are finding ways to turn it into wisdom. Pain then becomes a teacher, not a destroyer. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born from pain. Artists painted their deepest wounds into masterpieces. Leaders rose after being broken by hardship. Inventors created solutions after experiencing loss or struggle. Ordinary people turned their private battles into public victories by sharing their lessons with others. What all of them had in common was this: they refused to waste their suffering. They refused to let pain end with them. Instead, they transformed it into something that could help them grow and help others rise. This is the essence of transformation. When someone hurts you, you do not let that hurt define you. You do not let it harden your heart or poison your spirit. Instead, you channel it. You turn heartbreak into motivation to love yourself more deeply. You turn rejection into fuel to prove your own worth through your achievements. You turn betrayal into the foundation for stronger boundaries and greater self-respect. You turn loneliness into the opportunity to discover your own strength and independence. Every wound can be reshaped into wisdom if you choose transformation over retaliation. Retaliation may feel satisfying for a moment, but it will never bring you peace. It will never erase the hurt. It will never make you whole. At best, it drags you down to the same level as the one who hurt you. At worst, it leaves you emptier than before. But transformation fills you. It gives meaning to your suffering. It turns what was unfair into something useful. It turns scars into symbols of survival. It turns you into someone stronger, someone deeper, someone more unshakable than you were before. The power of turning pain into purpose is that it makes you unstoppable. Pain will come again because life will never be free from struggle. But once you have learned to transform pain, no hurt can ever truly defeat you. Every wound becomes an opportunity. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every heartbreak becomes a reminder that you are capable of loving yourself enough to heal. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" you begin to ask, "How can this grow me?" That shift is where transformation begins. And the beauty of transformation is that it not only frees you, it also inspires others. When people see how you turned your suffering into strength, how you rose instead of collapsed, how you built instead of destroyed, they too find hope. Your pain, once transformed, becomes a light for others, walking through their own darkness. That is purpose. That is meaning. That is victory over everything that tried to break you. So, when someone hurts you, resist the temptation to retaliate. Do not waste your soul in trying to hurt them back. Instead, rise higher. Take that pain, hold it, study it, and then reshape it into something that builds you. Let it teach you. Let it fuel you. Let it guide you to a life so powerful, so purposeful, that the one who hurt you becomes irrelevant. Retaliation keeps you stuck in the wound. Transformation makes you limitless. Pain is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a greater one. Turn it into purpose, and you will never be defeated. Life will always bring moments of pain. People will hurt you, betray you, and try to shake the foundation of who you are. But remember this, your response decides your future. You can waste your energy on revenge, on anger, on endless arguments, or you can rise above. You can choose silence over chaos, growth over revenge, dignity over weakness, success over bitterness, and transformation over retaliation. When you make these choices, you confuse those who tried to harm you, but more importantly, you free yourself. You become untouchable, not because pain will never find you again, but because you now know how to use pain as fuel. You know how to walk away with strength, how to shine so bright that no darkness can dim you, and how to turn every wound into wisdom. This is the real victory. Not proving others wrong, but proving yourself right. Not punishing those who hurt you, but building a life so powerful and purposeful that no hurt can hold you down. So the next time someone tries to break you, smile inwardly and remember their attempt is only a reminder of how strong you are destined to become. Do not fight to stay small. Rise, shine, and transform. Because your greatest revenge will never be in hurting them back. It will be in living a life so radiant, so unshakable, that nothing and no one can ever touch your spirit again.